Simmo. He's late today. He usually puts the bins out earlier. And Daphne's usually out in the garden by now. Must be the fight they had in bed last night. They're not speaking. Not that it was overly loud. In fact, it was quite sedate as usual. With her, "Oh, for God's sake, Richard, must you think only of yourself? Where am I in your equation? I'm tired. I didn't sleep well last night. I told you. Get your gorilla paws off me." So, no action for Diggy Boy. I hopped it back to my place after that. No jollies for the pop-eyed Simmo either. I fell asleep while waiting for the World Cup. Woke up and it was all over. "Brett Simpson," yelled Mrs. D. "You're a lunatic waiting to happen." The class laughed their guts out. "And if anyone repeats it, I'll say I never said it." "Ah, but Ms.," said Bowlsy. "What if we were all to say you said it?" "Bowlsy," said Miss D, "you're an idiot that's already happened." The class, of course, loved this sort of banter. "She's gone now, Miss D. She won't be back. Don't cross Simmo." So, I was down at the church hall in the youth club gathering, and I'm slinking around the back because of my maturity, getting an eyeful of those pure white virgins, when this very tasty piece, well past the virgin stage, comes up to me and says, "I haven't seen you before." Pardon me. "Are you with the choir?" And I say, "I've been meaning to join, but they're a bit elderly for me, if you get my drift. I'm Brett Simpson. Friends call me Simmo." "Well, Simmo. Oh, we're friends," I say. "Mr. Simpson," she replied, "I'm Angela Priddle, the rector's wife, and I really think that..." Just then, who should rock in but my good neighbour Daffers, the wife of the aforementioned Tricky Dicky. God, she's a looker despite her age, curves everywhere, something about older women that pushes your old Simmo's buttons. The experience. You should cop her in the garden in summer, pruning in her knickers. Well, not really, but a poor lad like me can imagine infinity. "Steady, Simmo." "Daphne," said Angela, "how are you? This is Mr. Simpson. He was just going to help out lifting that heavy wardrobe over there." "I'll get stuck in, Angie. Have it done in a flash. Hi, Mrs. Lecky." "Hi, Brett. Brett is my neighbour, Angela." "We should shake hands," said Angela. "Brett's muscle could be put to good use here." "You said it, Angie," I reply, shaking her cute warm hand and giving my most expansive smile as I turned towards the beast of a wardrobe. "See you, Mrs. Lecky." "Neighbour?" asks Angela with raised eyebrow. "Richard won't have a bar of him. But then, Richard doesn't get along with anyone, really. Still the same. You know what he's like. There should be limited contract to marriages. Well, some. Anyway, Brett offered to fix a leaking tap, and I gladly said yes, thinking it was neighbourly of him. But after the job was done, he gave me a figure almost as much as the plumber's quote. I paid, of course. Well, what could you do? I would have paid something anyway, a carton of beer, whatever. Richard, when he came home, was ropeable, loudly declared he was a sleaze and not to be trusted. Then a couple of days later, Brett, or Simmo as he likes to be called, comes over with a meal for both of us. Says he shouldn't have charged me so much, and he hoped this would make up for it. How was the meal? It was wonderful. Gourmet Italian veal, which he said he cooked himself, and a bottle of good wine. I was mortified. Richard was annoyed, to say the least. Totally pissed off. Wouldn't eat any of it. Dumped his into the garbage bin. So your old Simmo's here, shifting the wardrobe with these two porky old farts. Oh, it'll be compo if me back goes. Oh, my legs are given. And I'm trying to position myself so I can hear what the sexy Daphne's saying to the awesome Angie, but they're speaking softly. I know they're talking about me because they've glanced over a couple of times. I bet it's about my plumbing charge and the meals. Can't understand why Tricky Dicky didn't come down with some food poisoning or worse. I made sure he had the big portion. And how is your Tommy? Asked Daphne. Oh, doing his rectoring as usual. Out and about, saving souls, replies Angela. But I'm intrigued with your Simmo over there working and looking at us. But he was up there behind the girls earlier, and I couldn't help but notice that he seemed to be, well, how shall I say, sizing them up. I could be wrong. That's a concern. A real worry if you're right. Well, as you know, we moved in, 6 months ago, and at the time he lived with his aunt, who was a recluse. She never left the house, but I'd see her in the garden from time to time. Then suddenly she was dead. He mentioned it casually one morning, then broke into sobs. Apparently she slipped and fell down the back steps, breaking her neck. She did say to me once he was a good lad at heart, but she wished he'd get a job. Every so often I would hear her berating him. But no, we hardly know him really. What you see, maybe. He's overly confident, in your face, contradiction. You know, he charges and then repays you. So the following day, I'm down the back of the church praying. Well, who have we here? Brett Simpson, your worship. Friends call me Simmo. Call me Tom, Simmo. I'm the rector. I don't recall seeing you here previously. I've been getting back to reading my Bible, rector. Sorry, Tom. The dear aunt, God bless her, passed on a couple of months back, and I've found comfort in the good book. So I'm here having a quiet chat with the Lord. He must be gobsmacked to hear from me. We haven't always seen eye to eye. Rarely, in fact, if ever, until now, if truth be told. The aunt was always nagging me to get my arse, sorry Vicar, down to the church. Well, I'm sorry to hear about her passing, Simmo. Did we bury her? No, Tom, RC, but Ma was C of E. Religious mongrel, me. Anyway, I was just saying to the Lord that I want to make preparations, as it were, for my misdemeanours. So if there's any job I can do, I'm an odd jobs man, you know. Plumbing, carpentry, gardening. Hey, I met your wife, Angela. You're a lucky man, Tom. A bottler for a churchy woman. God, she'd make Lazarus rise if you get my drift. So these two coppers are here in my kitchen. Sergeant Fat Boy and Comfortable Slim. Constable Slim. They're asking questions about the missing girl. A pot shot here, a pot shot there, pretending they know more than they're letting on. A flatbed like mine was seen in the vicinity. Oh, it's a popular make, boys. Yes, this is my aunt's house. She died a few years back. Rake over the tracks, as it were. Then it clicks. Fat Boy was one of the old wheezers shifting the wardrobe in the church hall. We did some good work for the Lord last Tuesday, Sergeant, I say, shifting that wardrobe. Right, he said. I thought I'd seen you somewhere. Oh, now we have the cream of the constabulary here, the pride of Plod, Crims quaking in their boots. Not the eagle-eyed Sergeant Fat Boy. No. Here he comes, the wobbly scourge of the criminal class. Gadumpa, gadumpa, gadumpa. Angela, maybe her funeral was out of town, asked Daphne. But then we never saw an ambulance, a hearse, nothing. 1 minute she's there, next, nothing, vanished. It's not as though anyone would notice she's missing, really. The house on the other side is vacant. It's all too strange. Well, Tom checked with Father O'Connor, and the Catholics have never heard of her, Mrs. Simpson or anyone from that address. I hate to say it, but I think we should check with the police. You know, he was down at the rectory a week ago replacing a downlight in our bathroom. He wanted nothing for it except a few prayers. Making reparation, he said. My dear old aunt, bollocks. Here's your old Simmo trying to lead a quiet life, leaving a small footprint on the planet, and she's giving me aggro again. Get out of bed, find a job, wash the dishes, make yourself useful. There's only so much a man can take. Great manure for those rose bushes she'll make. Must add some lime to speed things along. Transfer a shovel full of my boys from the worm farm. Making myself useful. A cup of dynamic lifter should shift her. Ah. The aunt would have been proud of me. Irony. Miss D taught me that one. God bless her. I'm a likeable bloke. Do anything for anyone. Swell guy, as they used to say in the movies. Salt of the earth. Matthew 5:13. But don't cross the old Simmo. Simmo1 too. Now I must check out those videos on the USB. The angular angel Angie blessing the Reverend Tom, and the delightfully dumpy Daphne doing her duty with the tricky Dicky. One of the perks of the humble odd jobs man. I've been saving them for a rainy day. Who's that banging on the door?